What's up, you guys? This is Stevie Lenga and Nick Fortag with the Computer Group Podcast. I know it's been a while since we've done these, but we're bringing them back since, I'm leaving the games with Stevie, and, I wanted to do something still with the Computer Group. So you guys will see and hear more of me on the website and on the YouTube channel through these podcast updates and things on what's going on my channel and what's going on the Computer Group, of course. So, Nick, what are we talking about this time?
Well, Stevie, what do you think's so big happening right now this week?
Is it something that starts with E and has a number in it?
Yes, you are correct. We are going to talk about E3 2015, and we're going to go over just some quick, more in-depth stuff with Microsoft's and Sony's, and touch on, I guess you want to call Nintendo's, but
It's freaking perfect.
but we get to that later. So let's start off with Microsoft's. When they opened, all they showed was a Halo 5 type teaser / trailer type thing. So Stevie, how do you feel that Halo 5 Guardians is going to be?
Well, to be honest, I wasn't a huge fan of Halo 4. I thought they went for more of a Call of Duty feel, which kind of messed me up, disoriented me, because I like the Halo feel. Halo was its own thing, and now they're going towards more of the traditional arcade Call of Duty shooter. And so, gameplay-wise, I'm expecting the same as Halo 4. Story-wise, I'm not expecting much better, because Halo 4 was kind of a weird storyline. So I'm not expecting a high opinion on it, but hey, I am willing to give it a shot.
The only reason I played Halo 4 was for its multiplayer. After I played the story, I was done with it, and I was never going to play the story ever again because it was so bad, I didn't even like the game, I just played the multiplayer.
So basically, reasons why people play Call of Duty games is because the story usually sucks, the last good story being probably, in my opinion, Modern Warfare 2, and the last half of Modern Warfare 3.
Yep.
Most people play it for the multiplayer, because let's be honest, Call of Duty games, I've always had a very nice multiplayer when you don't find the kids.
Yeah, about that.
But one game I was really excited to hear about, and that a lot of people probably disagree with me. I actually like the Gears of War series.
Oh,
and Lord. I heard that a new one's coming out, so...
Gears 4, not Gears of War. Gears 4, that's all they showed.
There's no war anymore, it's just a bunch of gears.
Okay. Also, another thing that kind of made a lot of people happy was Microsoft got on stage to talk about some updates that are coming to the Xbox One, and one of them that it stood out was backwards compatibility. How do you think that's going to work, Stevie?
I'll be honest, I'm a little bit worried about it, just because they tried backwards compatibility with the 360, and hardly any of my 360 games, or original Xbox games, worked on the 360.
Well, yeah, but Microsoft really came out and said that if you want the backwards compatibility, you have to hope the company approves it. Because it sounds like it's going to be an easy process. You just got to hope the company's willing to enable that with their games. That's the only thing I've seen that was kind of interesting, and one of the first ones that are, if you're in the preview program, you get to try the backwards compatibility, and you have the Gears of War games, a few of them, and Via Pinata. And there's only like five games currently on the list.
Yeah.
Or more.
Well, I see probably Activision letting backwards compatibility with their games. I see people still probably playing a little bit of, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, just get some nostalgia feelings on it. That's how I am with things. I like playing my older games and stuff, when I'm like feeling that, feels for nostalgia. But, yeah, I think it'll work. I'm just worried of how well it will work at first, and how it will work at first is how it'll be remembered.
Okay. Also, another thing they announced was the Xbox One Elite controller. I know I'm totally gonna get one, just because why not? We only live once. And what do you think about that, Stevie?
It's expensive. I know that, but
$149.99. I'm probably just gonna wait until Amazon runs a sale on it for $100 maybe, but
yeah.
But it comes with the carrying case.
Oh yes, the carrying case. That is why I buy it. But I did like the pedals on the back. I think that was kind of interesting.
So okay, one thing about this: do you think it's going to be used more of? It's going to give people with those more of advantage in games than others, or because Microsoft, how they said it works is you can bind the same controls you already are originally there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just for example, one thing they showed was instead of having to push the bumper and then shoot, you can push the add-on thing and then shoot, where you don't have to hit the bumper and the trigger at the same time.
Mm-hmm. It might. But I think people will have to get used to it though, because you're used to when you're playing, Halo or something like that. You're used to having your fingers up at, towards the top of the controller with your with the bumpers and the triggers. So I think people have to get used to holding it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then another thing, one other thing was this new game called Recore. This was made by the creators of Metroid and Mega Man. It's a first-party game. Basically, it features a woman and her dog fighting enemies in the desert wasteland. What do you think about that?
From what I've seen,
the trailer looked kind of awesome. No joke.
But a game is not judged by its trailer alone. You also have to have gameplay. You also have a good gameplay and, a thrilling story. Because I doubt there will be multiplayer with this game. It doesn't look like it would have a multiplayer game. But I could be wrong. But I think it'll have a lot to live up to, especially since the creators of Metroid Prime and Mega Man. So I think a lot of people are going to be expecting a lot from it.
Okay. Another thing, let's get to Ubisoft. One thing they announced was a release date for The Division, which it's been delayed 3 times already.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that game?
Well, I've always been a fan of Tom Clancy games. I love Rainbow Six, love Ghost Recon, and I especially love Splinter Cell. So, I think it's going to be a good game, just because it's a Tom Clancy game, and I've loved pretty much every Tom Clancy the Tom Clancy name has thrown out. So,
okay. Another thing they also did, they showed a better trailer of Rainbow Six Siege, and they also announced, since backwards compatibility is coming to the Xbox One, that you would be able to play your Xbox 360 version, but if you do buy Rainbow Six Siege, you're also going to get Rainbow Six Vegas and Rainbow Six Vegas 2 for free. What do you think about that?
Well, Nick, me and you spent a lot of time on Xbox Live or at each other's houses playing Vegas and Vegas 2. So, I'm thinking it's great. I love those games. I love doing the terrorist hunts. So, I'm thinking go for it. I mean, those games were a lot of fun. I clocked a lot of hours in Vegas 1. So, yeah. By the way, thank you for getting me Vegas 1.
Also, another thing, Microsoft showed off a lot of Rise of the Tomb Raider. They actually had gameplay and different things of it. What do you... I never really was a fan of Tomb Raider games, but what do you think,
Neither was I. I liked Lara Croft. I love looking at the games, but playing them myself, I was never much of a fan. I only have one Tomb Raider game, and it was for the PlayStation 1, and we got with the PlayStation 1. I spent more time in the training thing with the farting butler rather than the actual campaign.
Okay. And another thing that what a lot of people thought was kind of leaked before E3 or during the E3 conference was Rare's 30th anniversary collection for the Xbox One, and that includes 30 games for $30, and those games do include like Battletoads and Banjo-Kazooie, and also Perfect Dark.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that, Stevie?
You know, I never really played much of those games when I was younger. I actually never really heard of Perfect Dark until you introduced me to the game.
Yes, because that was my favorite game.
So, for those who are nostalgic for those games, I mean, that's all that's really reaching to is people who are very nostalgic or people who had siblings or family members who they remember playing the game. So, yeah, I think it's going to be good for those people. But for me, personally, I probably would play Banjo-Kazooie because I've heard of that series, and I think it's hilarious.
Okay, and then what do you think about their new IP, Sea of Thieves? It's a multiplayer, basically, pirate adventure game. I have to admit, it kind of impressed me a little bit when I've seen the trailer. I wasn't real big on like the comical, like fun graphics, really, but this one kind of made me want to try it out. Yeah,
that's kind of how I am. I wouldn't mind trying it out, seeing how well the MMO thing is, considering like the last MMO I heard about, and this is how profane I am from the gaming community off and on. I see the last one I heard about was Elder Scrolls Online, and I didn't do so well. So hopefully this will definitely be better than ESO.
Also, another thing that Microsoft showed off. I bet you I know what Stevie's really hoping us to talk about, but I'm keeping that a little bit later when we get done with the Microsoft Ref conference.
Fair enough.
But they also showed off how Minecraft looks on the HoloLens. What does Stevie think about this?
That was really cool, but it takes a lot more than looking cool to be a good game. Like I said, a game's a lot more than just the way it looks.
Well, yeah, but it's three-dimensional. You can touch it.
I know, and that's why I think it's so cool. And if it works, because this has happened before, when things look really good and work really good at E3, but then they send it out to the public, and looky there, it's not working as well. So I'm hoping it works just as well outside of E3 that it did inside of E3.
Yep. Also, another thing, Microsoft partnered with Valve with their Valve VR. That was kind of interesting. It was kind of just out of place at Microsoft press conference, but I guess that's what you get. Another thing they also announced, EA announced, was Garden Warfare 2.
Oh my goodness.
Looks kind of fun game. I might just wait until it gets into EA Access, which also, they did make some announcements about EA Access. Is Titanfall is going to be added, which is already added already. And later on, The new Dragon Age game is going to be added to it.
Nice.
I'm not really sure if I'm going to play it or not. I wasn't a big fan of Dragon Age, but
I always love the look of Dragon Age. But another thing Ubisoft is coming out is a new South Park game.
Oh, yes.
Sequel to The Stick of Truth. And South Park, The Fractured But Whole, it should be coming in 2016. So I'm actually looking forward to see how that works.
Yep.
Because I love South Park. And, also the new Assassin's Creed Syndicate.
Yep.
So that'll be very beautiful to see.
Yep. Also, what do you think about, Stevie, about Microsoft giving the in-process development game type service, the Xbox Game Preview, where you can buy the game and play it while it's still in development? What do you think about that? We all know how it turned out with Valve.
Yeah. But
you think Microsoft's going to have more like a stricter hand in it?
Probably. And the sad part is I don't think it'll go well. I just never saw those going that well. It didn't work great when Valve did it, so.
Yep. Also, another thing that kind of hit news today is on Microsoft's feedback website. One of their top requested games for the preview or to have backwards compatibility is Red Dead Redemption. So a lot of people want that game on. Mm-hmm. Be able to play it still on it. The Xbox One. Okay. And also, Stevie, what do you think about Microsoft's big game, Forza Motorsport 6?
I've never really been much of a fan of the Forza series. I've always thought the controls were really glitchy. So I'm probably not the best person to ask about it.
Yep. Now, also, finally, we get to the point where we talk about, I guess, probably something that kind of destroyed E3 this year, just because they actually showed up to E3 this year.
Yeah.
Is the game Dishonored 2.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I've never played Dishonored 1. But a lot of people I talked to really liked it, and they were really hoping for a sequel. And, well, here's your sequel. Yep. The thing is, though, will it be... And I asked this my friend who really liked Dishonored. I asked him, does he think the second one will be as good as the first one?
You can play as two people. Of course it's going to be good.
If they put co-op in it, though.
Oh, gosh.
That would be interesting to see how they would do that. But I doubt they will, but...
But I know what game Stevie really wants to talk about right now. Is the game that blew E3 away for real this time.
One of, 2 or 3.
Is Fallout 3 is coming to the Xbox if they do support it at launch time of Fallout 4, but when you purchase Fallout 4, they are giving you Fallout 3 for free.
That's amazing. I loved Fallout 3. It was... The only thing is, do they also include the DLC for Fallout 3?
Probably.
I would hope so.
I would hope so,
I would love to go back and play Point Lookout. That was... I didn't have it myself. One of my friends did, and I would just go to Point Lookout. It was just such a creepy place, such a fun place. And Nick, you know me, I love the creepy things in video games, and so Point Lookout was my favorite place. So were a lot of the vaults. So I am really happy that they're doing that with Fallout 4. And also, the looks of Fallout 4. I mean, the game was just amazing. From just what the...
You get a dog.
That's the most amazing part! No.
Yeah. Also, another good thing that was interesting about Fallout 4 announcement was mods coming to the Xbox One. How do you think that's going to work out?
Me, you, and friends have talked about this. I hope it works really well. But once again, how are they going to do it? How are they going to make it work? And work effectively without, messing the game up or, in probably some cases will be messing up your console.
Yeah, but I guess that's just something that
it's worth the risk.
The community just has to get together and figure out how to.
But I mean, I can't wait to see what happens with it, though.
Yep.
Because that's a very interesting thing to do.
And time now, since we talk about all the update about Microsoft, I guess it's time for E3 announcements for Stevie's favorite company, Sony.
I do like Sony. I like Microsoft too, but Sony was my first major thing when I was growing up. I had the PlayStation 1 and the Sega Genesis, so...
Yep. Sony's press conference brought people to tears. People got all crying, and everything was so beautiful. I don't
except for during Uncharted 4.
Yeah,
the PS4 crashed.
Yep,
but every E3 always has at least one or two mess ups.
Yeah, I guess. So, Stevie, what do you think about them showing off that The Last Guardian still exists? They actually showed almost the exact same trailer they showed 2 years ago, but it still exists. How do you feel about that?
It reminds me of Gears of War. Was it 3? I think it was Gears of War 3 that delayed for like a year and a half before they actually confirmed its release.
Yep.
So I mean, yeah, it at least it went on.
Also, how do you feel about Horizon, the new game that's from the Killzone developers?
It looked good.
It looks like a Far Cry, but with robots.
Yeah. It looked in third person. But, will it work as well? Will it work as Killzone did and get a sequel when no one wanted a sequel?
Yeah. And also, how do you feel about Hitman coming back?
I love the Hitman series. So I'm really excited to see the new installment. We actually did forget to talk about one thing with Bethesda, the new Doom game.
Oh, who cares about Doom?
Man, I'm telling you, I'm excited to see what they do.
Every time those games come out, nobody plays them.
I know, but they should. That's the thing, they should.
Yep.
From the trailer I saw, or from the gameplay I saw, everything. It was just a very highly updated version of Doom 1, and I'm telling you, that's awesome. I loved Doom 1. Also, the arena creation, I can't wait to see what happens with that. It's going to be really cool to see.
Yeah. And finally, let's get to the somewhat major news about Sony's press conference, and what made a lot of people cry and hug and different things is Final Fantasy VII Remake.
When I saw that, when I was told that, I jumped for joy. I was so happy. People have been wanting a Final Fantasy VII Remake since the PS2. And then again on the PS3, and finally they're getting it on the PS4. And I watched the trailer, and I read where the director was talking about it, and it's going to be a totally new game. I'm hoping they get voice acting in it, and what I really hope is that either they leave the story alone or add things that they didn't add into the original story.
Nope, they're going to change everything about it. It's going to be a different
game.
I
hope not.
Indian's going to change completely.
Aerith survives. One of the biggest turns of the games. I'm just going to say, man.
And then what a lot of people kind of was worried about, and I knew it was going to happen, but Stevie didn't believe me, was although Sony confirmed the remake, Square Enix did come out the day after saying that it's coming to PlayStation first, but other platforms afterwards. So, told you so, Stevie.
But also in Square Enix's, under Square Enix's belt, is Kingdom Hearts 3. Something we've been, us Kingdom Hearts fans have been waiting on since Dream Drop Distance, which came out 2-3 years ago. So we've been waiting very patiently for Kingdom Hearts 3, for them to get their stuff together to make a great game. And unfortunately, the trailer didn't reveal too much, but sometimes that's the best way to go.
Also, how do you feel about the other Final Fantasy game coming out? The Final Fantasy Ward.
I am not looking forward to that. There's been a lot of Final Fantasy, I guess you can say off-brand games away from the original, the numbered ones, like, Final Fantasy Adventures for the Game Boy, and everyone loves Final Fantasy Tactics. And really the best one that's been out there that's not part of the main series is Final Fantasy Tactics for, like, the PlayStation 1, or Final Fantasy Tactics Advance for the, Game Boy Advance. So, I'm hoping it does great. I always hope games do great, but I'm not expecting it to.
Okay. Also, another game that was announced that made everyone cry and hug and different things was really, you didn't get a whole lot of stuff from it. Basically, the developer was just begging for $2 million, was Shimshu 3.
Yeah.
But yet they did reach their campaign goal within a few days, but that's still kind of awkward.
Yeah.
That they basically showed off a little bit of a trailer, and then the guy came out and said, hey, we need your support, and we want you. I think they said last game they made, it would cost them like, I think $10 million or something. Something outrageous.
I can do a lot with that money.
Yeah. Also, another thing that happened at Sony was their PlayStation crashed. Yeah, about that.
Still wasn't as bad as Nintendo's.
Sony expands its TV offering service. PS4 also unlocks exclusive Assassin's Creed Syndicate DLCs. And now, what does Stevie think about this? I kind of didn't care much at all, but Call of Duty is now forced on PlayStation 4. Do you think Sony gave them some money to do that so people would buy a PlayStation 4 just for the new Black Ops game, or what? How do you think about that?
Probably. They probably did that. I still, that's why I kind of thought about, Final Fantasy VII being only on the PS4 at first, to get people to buy more PS4s. And I'm one of those people, it doesn't bother me what the businesses do. They're doing what they're supposed to do and get money. So, I think they're actually playing it right, doing like that. A lot of people like the Black Ops series. A lot of people love the Final Fantasy series, especially Final Fantasy VII. So if they haven't bought a PS4 yet, they'll probably buy a PS4 for, Final Fantasy VII or Black Ops 3. So I think they're playing it right.
And also, then later on, EA came out and showed us the forced gameplay of the Battlefront game.
Oh, Star Wars Battlefront. It looked awesome.
I'm still not sure if I want to get it on PC or Xbox, but I'm not sure.
Personally, I would probably get it more on console games, just because I find shooters a little bit easier on consoles. But people are different. A lot of people nowadays like playing shooters on the PC. You know, the PC Master Race and all that.
Yep. And then lastly, they announced at the end of their press conference, which I guess the PlayStation 4 couldn't handle it anymore with all these great games on it, was Uncharted 4 announcement, and it was a live demo, and it basically crashed the PlayStation 4. So what do you think about Uncharted 4, Stevie?
Well, the Uncharted games have always kind of, when it came to graphics, have always had wonderful graphics. So they may have had just so awesome graphics that the PS4 just couldn't handle it. So I think when it comes out, I honestly think they may have dumbed down the graphics. Maybe not much. It'll still look beautiful because Uncharted has always looked wonderful. They may not have always played great. They may not have always had, the greatest voice acting or anything like that. But they've always looked great. But once again, that doesn't make a game. So, but I'm hoping it does well, because I've only played some of the games. I never played one all the way through, but I played some of them. And I always found them enjoyable. So I'm hoping this one continues the trend and keeps on upping the ante.
Okay. Also, let's get away from, I guess, you want to say PlayStation and their terribleness of a console because it crashes at E3. That's something that should have happened to Microsoft, but it didn't. So that just shows you which console is better.
For now. Time will tell, my friend.
Another thing that Microsoft revealed before E3 this month was a new Xbox One that has a terabyte hard drive. And it's a matte finish instead of a glossy finish.
It's going to look good.
Yep.
It's going to look good. You can hold a lot of stuff on there.
I guess so. And they also updated their controllers, where it includes a 3.5mm jack, so you can use any headset with it.
Which is smart.
Guess that's okay, just because people didn't want to buy the extra piece that added the port, which was $20, which I think should have been cheaper.
Yeah.
But now, if you buy a new controller, you can use your headset with it. So now let's get to the embarrassment of E3 was Nintendo's puppet show, which the CEO actually apologized for it, but
it's really bad when you apologize for something afterwards.
Yep. Basically, it was all 3DS news. Just one major announcement about the Wii U.
Star Fox.
Was Star Fox. Never was a fan of Star Fox, but I guess.
He's your favorite character in Smash Bros, though.
Yep. Also, they showed off some Amiibo stuff.
Which, the thing with Amiibos,
it's just
me and a friend was talking about that earlier today, is that you don't really use them that much. They just, they usually just sit there and you look at them.
It's
and they
basically Nintendo's answers to the Skylanders, but you can use them outside of a game. Also, they showed the more stuff about the Mario creator. What do you think about this? I think this is probably one of the neatest things that Nintendo could have came up with.
I thought it was a lot better than your puppet show.
Yeah.
Which you couldn't get much worse than that. But yeah, that was pretty cool. They even had the voice of Mario there. People were getting videos of him. all over YouTube. He was doing like pretty much every quote Mario has ever said ever, and that's just that was just really cool. Miyamoto, I've always respected the man. I've always loved how he's always doing more things with Nintendo, even if some of them are just remakes of old things. So I still have hope for Nintendo. A lot of people have lost hope in Nintendo, but I still have hope for it. I'm an optimist.
Do you? But do you think Nintendo's kind of wanting to get out of the console business since all their announcements this year was basically 3DS things? Or do you think they really, really want to get into the mobile market but with their own stuff?
Yes. Yes and no. I think they want to stay in the console game a little bit, but I think they're more focused on the 3DS. Because, which one was better? The PSP or the DS?
I would say, well, with that, I would say the PSP. But later on, when the PSP Vita came out and the 3DS came out, the 3DS completely destroyed the Vita.
Nintendo has always been good with handheld consoles. They had the Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Advance SP, DS, 3DS, the DSi, which I almost forgot about the DSi.
Yep.
And then they have the 2DS, which, don't get me started on the 2DS.
It's a good concept if you don't play a 3DS with 3D enabled like I do. I hardly ever play my 3DS with the 3D enabled just because it's terrible.
Yeah.
But yet the new 3DS, the 3D is slightly better and less like irritated, but it's still got some issues.
And with Nintendo, I have faith that they'll get that right with the handhelds.
Yep, and
it's the consoles. It's the consoles that they've had so much trouble with. And with the new Nintendo NX, I don't know. I hope they do good. It doesn't run on Android.
Rumors say that you're going to get both the console and Nintendo's next portable system, and they're going to work together. Sort of like Microsoft's Smart Glass.
Ooh.
So that's going to be kind of iffy. But also, what do you think? Us Microsoft fanboys always want a portable system with it, but we might get it with Microsoft streaming, since you can now stream Xbox One games to your Windows 10 computer when Windows 10 comes out. So hopefully that service kind of expands a little bit where you can play it across the internet or something. That'd be really nice. But yet, I guess if you want to get technical about it, I guess, yeah. And Stevie, you want to basically, we're gonna wrap this up, and you want to tell people where they can find you and what you're working on and different things.
In the middle of nowhere in a shack. No, guys, you can find me. I am still on Fedoraman Studios, so you guys can find me with the Final Fantasy VII fandom project. We are redoing it, and we are on a roll right now. We are getting stuff done. I know I have promised you this, guys, for the past almost year. I have promised you that we'll redo this. So, finally, guys, we're getting footage, we're getting lines in, everything. It's going to look very nice, a lot nicer than it has ever looked in previous times. Also, you can find me on my new gaming channel, More On Games, and I'm with also 2 friends of mine, sometimes 3 friends of mine, but he has other stuff to do also, so hopefully he'll send out a video soon. You can also find me on another Fedoraman Studios thing, Fedora Bridged, where me and my friends are doing an abridged parody series of an anime you guys have probably never heard about. So, I hope you guys check me out on all those channels. We're doing a lot more so in Fedoraman Studios. I'm bringing in two old shows that I did one episode each, and I also am doing a new show that you guys will see in fall of this year.
Fall of this year?
Yep.
No. Also, you're gonna use the new Final Fantasy remake to make your fandom?
Oh, probably not. We're actually are going to try to make a goal to at least get past the first disc by the time the remake comes out.
That's interesting. And yeah, and now and don't you have a Twitter?
Yes.
Thank
you for reminding me. You can check us out on Facebook under the name Fedoraman Studios. You can also check me out on Twitter at Fedoraman1994. I'll be posting update videos, and whenever I start my new shows and things, I will have them on my Twitter so you guys can check them all out.
Okay, and the computer group, you guys usually know where you can find me at. You can find me at either my personal Twitter, the foretag, or you can come to the computer group's Twitter, which is _computerg. You can also find us on Instagram with the computer group, and you can also find us on Facebook. It's Facebook/the computer group, and you can also find us on YouTube, where you're hopefully watching this, or if you're not watching this on YouTube, or you're not listening to this on YouTube, you can find me at YouTube/the computer group. And I guess we're gonna wrap that up today, and this is gonna be a monthly podcast, hopefully. And we're just basically not sure when we're going to post these, but maybe midweek podcasts, maybe. But yeah, I guess we will see you next time on the Computer Group Podcast.
See you guys, and I'm glad this thing's back.